It used to bother me that I could spend an entire workday without even thinking about God. I'd start with the best intentions, but once those emails and meetings and deadlines all hit, faith, well, it just got pushed to the side. By the time the day was over, I felt drained, not just physically, but spiritually. Have you ever gotten to the end of your workday and realized you never once thought about God? You were so busy responding to those emails, finishing the projects, and putting out fires that your faith felt like it, got left back at the door when you started your workday. That emptiness, that disconnection, it's not because you don't love God enough. I want you to see that truth. What it is that you haven't actually learned to naturally bring Him into the rhythm of your work. So what we're going to do today in this video is we're going to talk about why the disconnection happens and how you can stop it by making God a natural, effortless rhythm of your day. And you'll discover, because I'm going to tell you, some practical ways to invite Him into your work so that your faith really stays alive and vibrant even in the middle of all those deadlines, of all those meetings, of all those other responsibilities that you have. Hey there, wise woman. I'm Deneen TB, your faith growth strategist. I help Christian women like you weave faith into the everyday fabric of your workday so that it feels natural, life-giving, not that draining, and sustainable. Your spiritual life really was never meant to be a box that you check off before diving into your real life. It's meant to be the foundation that really carries you through every meeting, every email, every challenge you have. So let's look at how to create a personalized daily rhythm that keeps you in a real, ongoing connection with Him even in your busiest of days. First, though, I really do want to talk about this quiet ache that you carry, because I've carried it too. For many of us Christian women in business, in the workplace, there's this quiet frustration that's just running underneath the surface. You know that God should be the center of your life, not just an afterthought, not just left at the door. And you've tried adding more devotionals and a Bible study, reading plan, or incorporate prayer times, but they either get really crowded out by your schedule or feel disconnected from your real everyday work. How can I apply this to what I am doing every day? When you deeply care about your faith, that kind of underlying frustration, it doesn't just pass unnoticed. What it does is it kind of hangs there. It kind of lingers. You might be smiling at that meeting. You might be hitting every deadline and accomplishing every goal that you've set for yourself and checking off all the boxes for the tasks. But inside, you feel that quiet ache. A longing to sense God's presence in the middle of your day, not just on the edges of it, whether that's before work or after work. And if you're honest, you've tried to fix it. You've added those devotionals. You've tried to join Bible studies. You promise yourself you're going to pray more during breaks, whatever it is you've tried to do. But the efforts, what happens is they either get swallowed up by your schedule or they end up feeling disconnected from the reality of your workday. You don't have that rhythm. And as a result, you start wondering, am I doing my faith wrong? Why does it feel so hard to stay connected to God at work? Maybe I'm just not disciplined enough. So, stop. Here's the truth. This isn't about you failing at your faith. It's about learning how to walk with God in a way that fits your life and the work that He's already given you. So why is it that you feel spiritually empty at work? Why has that happened to me? Why is it happening to you? Most Christian women that I've worked with truly love God. We love God. But because your days are full and fast and demanding, somewhere along the way, you've been told that connecting with Him really has to look a certain way. You know, that long, quiet time before sunrise, a structured Bible reading plan, or a prayer session that fits neatly into your calendar somehow. We have all these shoulds that we think we should do, right? The problem with that is that real life rarely follows a script. And when you can't keep up with some ideal, you start to feel like you're falling short. That emptiness that you feel during the workday, it happens when faith feels like a Sunday only activity rather than a part of your everyday. Okay? That's why there's emptiness. Or you've separated the work time from the God time, and they rarely overlap. They're rarely connected. You may feel that emptiness because your faith practices really aren't aligned with how God has designed you to connect with Him, whether you are a heart-led person, soul-led, mind-led, or strength-led. What does that mean? You know, heart-led, that you connect through emotion, relationships, and meaning. Soul-led, that you connect to God through your imagination, creativity, and reflection. Mind-led, that you're fueled by logic and learning and structured thinking. Or strength-led, connected through movement, action, physical engagement. It's not that you have failed. It's that you've been using that one size fits all. I always say the square peg in the round hole, right? As a faith routine, as an ideal that really doesn't fit your life or the way God designed you. And that's why you can be incredibly productive and yet still feel very spiritually empty at the same time. The good news, you don't have to live with this disconnection. Once you learn how to bring God into your natural work rhythm, everything changes. So I've talked about that heart, soul, mind, and strength. If you don't know your primary leading, if you haven't taken that faith shape quiz yet, I'm going to invite you to do that, because that's the beginning of understanding how you best connect to God. So I've put that down in the description. Go ahead and take that quiz after we finish the video and let me know how you lead primarily with your connection with God. So let's talk about how to make God a natural rhythm of your day. The key here to staying spiritually full while at work or working during the day, whether you're an entrepreneur or in the workforce, is not adding more to your plate. So I'm not going to tell you do this, and that. I'm not going to give you more stuff. It's really, again, it's about weaving God into the patterns that you already have. When your connection with Him really matches the way that He designed you, this stops feeling like a forced habit and really starts to feel like a natural part of who you are and how you show up each and every day. So here's how to start. First thing I want to think about is to have you anchor your morning in God, in your way. And this is really about the first moments of your day that will really set the tone for everything that follows. You don't need an hour-long devotional to connect to God. You need an anchor that works for your faith shape. So if you discover that you're heart-led, just start with a worship playlist that focuses on God's character while you're getting ready or on your commute. Let the lyrics shape your thoughts before the day's noise begins. If you feel like you're a soul-led person, I'd love for you to maybe visualize a Bible verse as a living scene in your mind, and then carry that image with you. Let it color your interactions of the day, the decisions that you make that day. If you are more of a mind-led person, read one verse or truth. Jot down some key insight that you have about it, and then just revisit that during the day to keep your thinking aligned with God's truth. Something as simple as writing it on a card, popping it up in your office, or leaning it against your computer. If you feel strength-led, I would say to pray while moving. It could be that you already do a morning walk or stretches, or even while you're making breakfast. Use that time to pray, letting your body express worship and surrender. Sounds like these might be some good ideas for you. Let me know if you think it's really good. The second thing we're going to talk about is how to integrate God into your work flow during the day. Instead of waiting for the breaks or lunch to connect with God, you can actually create micro moments of connection throughout your workday. I love these micro moments because these are small, intentional pauses that weave His presence into the fabric of your tasks. So there's no extra time required. You're not stopping to do something else. So here are a few ways that I'm going to give you some ideas based on the faith shape that you've found out. So if you don't know it, make sure you take the quiz, but here they are. All right, so let's say before meetings, okay? You can whisper a prayer for wisdom, grace, and the ability to listen well. For a heart-led person, that would be specifically for the people in the room and their needs. For a soul-led person, it might be looking at picturing God's peace covering the whole space and guiding the conversation. For the mind-led, you might ask God to clarify your thinking and align your words with His truth. For the strength-led person, it's to stand tall, take a deep breath, and physically release any tension as you invite God in. And another task that you do for the day, answering emails. You could just pray for the person you're responding to, their needs, their workload, their own relationship with God. As a heart-led person, this might mean imagining your words carrying encouragement and care to that person. As a soul-led person, you might add a personal note or a thoughtful detail that brings warmth to your email. Very simple. As a mind-led person, you might choose words that bring clarity, fairness, and truth. As a soul-led person, you might type intentionally, praying over each sentence as you work, as your fingers go through the keyboard, right? Okay, so far, got some great things. We're still weaving into the workday. So what happens when you hit a roadblock during your workday? You could ask God and just say, what perspective am I missing right now? So the heart-led person might reflect on whether the emotions are clouding the situation. A soul-led person might step back and imagine a creative alternative. A mind-led person might seek God's wisdom for the logical next step. And the strength-led person will get up, move, and pray while walking around trying to reset your focus. So that's if there's an obstacle, a challenge. But what if there's success? How can we intertwine that into our rhythm of our day? When there's success, we can pause and thank God, even if it's just 10 seconds. Heart-led might be led to have gratitude well up and overflow in your words. A soul-led person might actually capture the moment in a visual or a journal entry. A mind-led person will acknowledge how God's guidance led them into the right steps. And a strength-led person will raise your hands and smile and move in a way that expresses joy. These are micro moments. So they may seem really small, but what happens is over time, they turn your work into worship and they keep your heart connected to God all day long because you're always thinking about bringing Him in to everything that you're doing. Okay, so we talked about starting your day, how to weave it into your day. So now, how are we going to close your day with reflection and release? How you end your day affects how you start the next day. So a simple end of the day routine or rhythm keeps your heart clear and your spirit at peace. So as a heart-led person, just journal one way that you saw God's love show up during your day. As a soul-led person, return to your morning verse or image and reflect on where you experienced it in real life during the day. As a mind-led person, review your day kind of like a case study. Where did you follow God's leading? And where can you grow tomorrow? As a strength-led person, do a small physical act to kind of release the day, standing with an open hand or kneeling in surrender or walking while talking to God. Your faith doesn't have to feel distant while you're at work. The truth is, all the ideas that I've shared here can absolutely help you start to feel more connected with God in your workday. But right now, they're just that. They're just ideas. Without a clear structure, they can feel scattered, they can be hard to remember, and they can be even harder to make a part of your everyday life. So that's where I want to tell you about the personalized faith plan, because this is where that comes in. It's not just a collection of tips. It's actually a step-by-step framework that organizes your faith practices around your unique wiring so that you know exactly when, where, and how to connect with God throughout your day. When your faith practices are aligned in the way that God has made you, your connection with Him really becomes effortless and ongoing. It's not something that you have to make time for because you're supposed to do it, or something you need to feel guilty about because you're neglecting what you think you're supposed to do. With a clear plan, you're not just maintaining the connection, you're actually accelerating your spiritual growth in a way that is sustainable for your real life. You don't need a perfect schedule. You need a personal rhythm that makes God the constant undercurrent of your day, the constant foundation. The PFP can show you exactly how to build it. So if you're tired of feeling spiritually empty while you're at work, I can help you create your own personalized faith plan, one that's designed for your unique wiring and your real life schedule, so that your faith really stays vibrant no matter what your day brings. Let's talk about what that would actually look like for you. I want you to book a free call with me. I've put it down in the description. Let's have a chat, because we can really understand if the PFP is for you. Because from here, I want you to have a fuller faith. We've talked about how feeling spiritually empty at work is not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that your faith practices just may not be aligned with God's design of you. That even a small amount and small moments, those micro moments with Him, woven naturally into your day, can actually shift everything. But when those moments are also organized into a clear, personalized plan, one that fits you, one that fits the work that you're doing, the days that you're having, your faith growth accelerates in ways you never thought possible. It's happened to me. It's happened to my clients. You don't have to choose between being productive and being spiritually full. You can have both together. I'd love to hear from you. When during your workday do you find it hardest to stay connected with God? I'd love for you to let me know in the comments and start to have conversations about that. This is Deneen TB. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, be filled to overflowing.